morning and welcome to a brand new week and a brand new edition of Summit. I am Jumoke Michaels. Hope you had a good, restful and peaceful weekend wherever you are in Nigeria. You're welcome. Banji is right here. How was your weekend too?
I had a restful weekend.
You decided to choose the word restful.
Yes, I did. But then what actually caught my attention over the weekend was the installation of the new MIs in Kano.
Yeah, in spite of the court order to stop the case.
Yes, apart from that, do you realize that history keeps repeating itself?
Yeah, that's not the first
Just
time.
a couple of years ago in Oyo State, Ajimobi went ahead and actually installed new obas, 21 of them, despite protests and controversies surrounding it. In Kano today, Kano is somewhat divided as to whether he should have gone ahead or not. And that was what prompted the court order.
Yes.
But he's saying that the installations have taken place
before the court order.
But this is just the beginning of another phase in the political life or history of the Kano people.
Yes.
This is unprecedented.
Yeah, unprecedented.
Unexpected.
Unexpected.
Kano has ever and always remained under one emirate. Now we have several emirates. So we really do. Events are just beginning to unfold. We don't know.
Yes,
whether it will have anything to do with the political career of the incumbent governor, we don't know. You know, he's running his second term.
Yes, he is.
Don't forget that Ajimobi was also running his second term
when he took
that very, very fundamental decision.
Yes.
So will this affect the political future of the incumbent governor or not? We don't really know.
Well, another issue that is actually on the front burner is still the inauguration. You know, it was like the date was still so far away, but it's just 2 weeks.
Okay.
The inauguration, and then
May 29.
May 29 is just 2 weeks time. You know, and what are the plans on ground? And then, okay, what caught my attention is the fact that people started saying that it's going to be June 12th. That the new inauguration, that the new Democracy Day had been declared to be June 12 last year, and so that the swearing in will be on June 12. But the presidency has come out to say, yes, the presidency had come out to say that it's actually May 29, that there's nothing like June 12. So please, let people just rest that rumor that it's May 29. Issues. Yes.
Actually, the current administration was sworn in May 29, 2015. It will mark exactly 4 years in office by May 29. Nobody can extend it by 1 day. So the 4 years will lapse on the 29th, and that's the day we should actually.
Maybe then the government needs to do something to clarify these two dates so that people will not will have a way of separating them. What May 29 entails and what June 12 entails, both referred to as Democracy Day. You know, maybe there needs to be some kind of clarification for people to really get to understand what the government is driving at.
Also, apart from that, yes, there's a need for us to set agenda for Nigerians, really, to set agenda for the incoming administration. Of course, democracy is the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. So if they are coming in, what are your new expectations? What part should they toe this time around? Should there be room for excuses? Of course, if there are excuses by the incoming administration, you should also share part of the blame, because you have probably not made enough input into what they should do when they get there. So on today's edition of Summit,
yes, today we are talking about the agenda for Buhari's second term.
Again, last Thursday, the Osun tribunal issue, the Court of Appeal actually annulled
the election petition
tribunal. And Oyetola was actually confirmed as the authentic governor of Osun State. But it is just a way forward. His challenger
has headed for the Supreme Court.
Has actually headed to the Supreme Court. So we don't really know. It's the beauty of democracy.
Yes. All right, so while we wait for that further judgment from the Supreme Court, well, everyone keep their fingers crossed. But today on the program, we are zeroing in on the agenda for Buhari's second term. And we have someone in the house this morning who's going to be looking at this issue with us. We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll have our guests with us. Please don't go away. We'll be right back.
Hello, children! It's Children's Day Carnival again! MITV and Star FM 101.5 presents Children's Day Carnival 2019. The date is Monday, the 27th of May, 2019. The venue is the MITV Carnival Ground at Lausa Ikeja. Gate fee is 1,000 naira per child, featuring music from different artists, comedy and dance, and loads of exciting games. And yes, children will make live requests on air. Also, children will participate in choreography, match pass, and many more. Here is calling school proprietors and proprietress, parents and guardians to seize this opportunity. For sponsorship, inquiries, and space booking, call 0803-515-8736 and 0803-401-5764. It's the MITV Star FM Children's Day Carnival 2019. Come, children, and let's have fun. It's fun all the way.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies fast.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws,
Proper funding.
Training.
And cooperation.
if it happen,
If it happens.
If it happens.
All right, welcome back. This morning, like we said, we are discussing agenda for Buhari's second term, for President Buhari's second term. And the swearing-in ceremony is on the 29th of May and not June 12th, like people are insinuating. And joining us this morning, we have Mr. Joe NWOKEDI. He's an attorney at law and also a public affairs analyst. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so
Thanks
much.
for being with us this morning.
It's my pleasure.
You're welcome.
It's actually a pleasure to have you here. In the next couple of weeks now, less than 3 weeks, just barely over 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
The incoming, the new government was sworn in. President Muhammadu Buhari would have actually spent 4 years, and he will be going for another 4 years. Now, so much has actually been discussed about the current administration. What they have done, what they have not been able to do, what the expectations are, what their challenges are, and the frustrations, so to speak, of our people. But this is a fresh opportunity, a fresh mandate for them to actually address the main issues of governance. so that our people will see a new lease of life. So let's start from even this, at this the current one. What's your kind of overview and assessment of what the last 3, almost 4 years have been?
And like a government that just came into the saddle when they were newly sworn in 2015, we are meant to understand that the fact that they just like came in, then it was all about the blames of the past administrations, where they've not done it well, things they have not done well, emptying the treasury, not putting the right things in place, allowing corruption to like eat up the polity and other things. And then Nigerians were like, okay, since they just assumed office and mounted the saddle, maybe within time, they will be able to like devise an effective measure and then means of addressing all these issues. But then, unfortunately, it kept lingering. Almost in every fora, in every event, it will be like that blame game. At the point, Nigerians were like, look, we actually decided to like vote out the past administration for you to come in and then correct all these anomalies and then come up with a solution, a workable solution that will reverse all these things and then put up what will benefit the citizens of Nigeria. But then they were still given opportunity to do that. But as that 4 years we were like almost going, we still have to live with what we are living with before. We still have to live with insecurity. We still have to live with a kind of aggression, a kind of so many groups springing up in Nigeria to come up with so many demands and things we are trying to like settle in the case of militants. And then we have now see Boko Haram still being returned. We now see hoodlums coming up, we now see bandits coming up, we now see Fulani herdsmen also adding to what was our problems before. But then the government kept making us to know that they're on top of the situation, at least in the areas of anti-corruption. Now once they get it right there, that everything will take place, take shape. We believe that, but unfortunately too, in that war, we are looking at a war that will be like holistic, a war that will be devoid of party affiliation, that would be devoid of ethnicity, devoid of religion, devoid of relationship, devoid of whatever correlation, coloration, a war that would just be like, this war is actually a war that is holistic, so that everybody will key in and join in that fight against corruption. But if you view it the other way, it seems as if it's more political than maybe being like a uniform kind of approach to the issue. But then again, however you see it, in our own understanding of the lawyers, once you are culpable, you have a question to answer, you have a cause of action that be reasoned against you, then you have to face your issues. Whether it is vengeance, whether it is militia, whether it is like political or whatever, once you are culpable of an offense, it's a material where what the intention of the person doing it might be same material. The fact that did any cause of action arise, were you culpable of the offense as alleged? That was the area that this present administration tried to convince Nigerians that they've done something. But then the other aspect of it, which is the most important thing that everybody in Nigeria is interested in, is economy. Economy. In as much as you have done all these things, how have they benefited the common man? How have they translated into the foods in the table of ordinary people, the peasants, the artisans, the laborers, the gardeners, the shoe shiners, all these people? How because they are the receiving end, the last badge of whatever policy reform you might have. It's not those around you, the bourgeoisies, the political heavyweights and the likes. No, they are not the appropriate parameter to measure the success of any government. Is the people at the lowest ebb. How are they feeling? And then can you say they are doing well in that aspect? The question is almost in the negative, because I remember one title captioned by one writer, from begging to banditry, from begging to banditry in Nigeria. You look at begging, people have been begging. Probably when they were begging, they used to see people that give them. People used to give them food, give them arms and everything. But now, because of the nature of the economy, nobody is giving. And then they now took to banditry. in Zafara, in Kaduna, Abuja Road, and almost all over the whole north.
From begging to
banditry. From begging to banditry. So they were begging before. Now people no longer, they don't want to beg again. Probably when they beg, nobody's giving them anything to eat. When they carry their shoe, walk to go out, nobody's patronizing them. When they want to push berry for somebody, nobody's patronizing them. There's all those areas that they can just mop up one or two things to sustain their daily bread. Nothing is forthcoming from there. They have to take to banditry. That's why that word banditry also joined the level of insecurity we have in Nigeria and almost in the north, over the whole north. So the present administration, for my own rating, they would have not done marvelously well, but like you rightly said, they are about to be given a fresh mandate. So I believe that maybe within the first 4 years, they will have learned a lesson. They will have actually acclimatized, accustomed themselves with the policies, procedures, and the programs of the government, how to govern a country as so complex, so big, so multidimensional, diverse as Nigeria. So in this new dispensation, people hope that they will have learned a lesson. They will have known what Nigeria is made of. They will have known our problem. Like I was telling somebody, I said, look, it's not for you to tell me my problem. It's for me to tell you my problem. I know my problem, not you. Just like taking somebody out for a drink. I say, you must drink this, drink this. Person say, look, I want to drink what I said. No, you must take champagne. You must take Moet. Person said, no, it's water I want to drink. Give the person water. That is what he needs. He may have a reason not to want your champagne, no matter how expensive it is. For him, he needs water at that point in time. So as a government, you have to know what the people need and not what you want for them. You might be building skyscraper, they may just want a bungalow. At that point in time, you might want to spend money building a kind of whatever infrastructure that might suit you. That might not be what they want. The government should look inwardly and understand what Nigerians want.
All right, sorry, before we go into what Nigeria actually wants, still talking about a bit of the challenges as a way forward. Do you believe that the 8th Assembly was actually one of the major challenges or hindrances to advancement for President Buhari's administration, which is why they said they are taking extra effort to ensure that they have their people in place of position? That's talking about the Senate presidency and the House Speaker of the House, to ensure that there's a seamless work relationship between them.
Yeah, I think I've been confronted with this question several different places. I don't think that National Assembly is the 8th National Assembly as a whole, National Assembly. I don't think they are meant to be in a kind of romantic relationship with the executive. They are not meant to be in a romantic relationship with the executive. Just like the judiciary is not meant to be in a romantic relationship with... Without intending to...
Just that. Whereas they are not also meant to be at...
To frustrate... No, the issue is that, you know, I'm coming to that. We have the Constitution, which guides the conduct of every arm of the government. If what you are doing is in line with the Constitution, nobody will ever deprive you of that. If you present a budget and everything you have in the budget is what ought to be in the budget, now Ninth Assembly cannot, in their own suo motu, bring in something that's inconsistent with what the Constitution says. If you have a nomination and the person is qualified, he has his credentials, the Ninth Assembly cannot stop that person from being screened. He has his credentials, he's qualified, he's asked questions, he answered the questions well. They can't stop him from doing that. If you have a bill that is like for the welfare of Nigerians, a bill that has something to make Nigeria great, and you present the bill, the Ninth Assembly cannot scuttle the bill. And we have seen so many bills they pass. They pass NIFA bill, they have a pass anti-corruption bill, they pass so many bills there. They pass Electoral Act amendment bill and other things. So look, these issues are like being reviewed by Nigerians. If you point out exactly what they have done wrong, bring it out and say this is where they have frustrated you. But if you want to have your way, which may not go down well with what the law says, or which may be political, and they look at it and say this is political, it's not something that will give you. And when the president wanted to have a presidential order, authority or whatever that would enable him to that's ran contrary to the section of the Constitution. They can't give you that. You can say, because if you have your mandate, if you now want a kind of law that may not be democratic in outlook, that Ninth Assembly will pass it because they want to flow with you. They are not a rubber stamp of the executive. So there is no how Ninth Assembly will be like. I mean, they are Eighth Assembly. Ninth Assembly is coming in. Will be in a full romance with the executive. Then because of the fact that maybe Saraki fell out with them, or Dogara eventually came out from PDP to APC back to PDP. The point I always tell people is that present your issues within the confines of the law. Then if the person now refuses to follow what the law says, you go to court. Court is there to like implement, interpret, and then give weight to whatever issues you have. But when you want to play politics, you want to find a way to like manipulate certain things, and then because you are not in good terms with them, you feel they will not do it. Definitely they will not do it. This Northeast Commission, was it not this 8th Assembly that passed it into law, that created that commission and passed it? I mean, come up with something that Nigerians will see. There is no bill within the National Assembly that they don't make public. People look at them, people assess them, and know the relevance of the bill, and then know the import of the bill and the purpose of that bill. And then if, like issue of even when some people were someone like Sergei, the rest of them were someone, they said the 8th Assembly has no right to summon them. They propounded laws to like guide their refusal to appear before the 8th Assembly. Did they eventually appear? Because it was within the confines of the law. Yeah. So what I'm just saying is that you can't accuse National Assembly of not working with you. They can't work with you, they work with the Constitution. They are not there to work with you. Okay. They are there to work with what Constitution says, and you are there to work with what Constitution says. Everybody is being bound by the provisions of the Constitution. So whether they are your people or not your people, you know, except if you want to a kind of manipulate some things that may not be constitutional, or that people that maybe you want to like nominate people that are not qualified, and you want them to like sail through. You want to close their eyes and then do that. As far as I'm concerned, we have the ground norm, which is the Constitution, which governs the activities of all other arms of the government.
All right. So I know if we dwell on this issue, 1 hour is not enough. So let's actually
go forward. Let's go forward.
Because he did talk about padding. Padding was never known to us until the 8th Assembly. So, but then moving forward,
is it right? Is it legal? Did they defend it?
Let's move forward.
Did law permit it? Did law permit the padding?
Can we please?
Yes.
What I'm asking now, what Nigerians want, every Nigerian in any part of this country, what he or she is looking forward to is the policy or the administration that will bring the greatest benefit to him at any time, irrespective of the challenges. Now we have issues with our power sector. We have issues with infrastructure. The professed commitment of this administration to the issue of infrastructure has not actually been felt by our people, I mean, the way they desire. So what do you think, for instance, the Minister of Power, Housing and Works has actually been working around, telling Nigerians that he's doing everything required to bring power to homes, yet people have not got it? Power is key to infrastructure, manufacturing, to everything that you can think of. So let's start with power. What do you think the agenda should be for this incoming administration?
For me, the two ministries that just conscripted into one should be disbanded.
The three ministries?
Should be disbanded. Power should remain, Ministry of Power should remain the Ministry of Power. That's number one thing. Then the other housing and the other one should be independent and on their own, and have somebody to man them. These are the areas that are like, voluminous. You have power covers so many issues. So somebody in charge of power should not be distracted with another Ministry of Housing, then the other department there. They should separate them, disband them, and then get power to stand alone. So the Minister for Power will definitely focus on power, speak power, sleep power, wake up power, and leave power, and without being distracted. And then again, in my own understanding, to which people contested, which I'm aligning with, I believe we should source for someone that is knowledgeable in electrical, about this power sector issue, to man that sector. If you remember when not a legal practitioner, I have
appointed today.
I can't accept it. I can't accept to work in a position where I am not grounded in.
Okay.
Because yes, as a lawyer now, I go to court, I go to police, I do a lot of things. There are things you say, I'll tell you no. It's not done like that. Look at where you at, because I know it. Look at what we're going to do. Look at how we're going to approach that judge. Look at how we're going to approach that magistrate. Look at how that appeal you filed. You made a mistake there. You have done this or done that, because it's my field. Or if even when you want to like file a matter, say you didn't file that matter, this is what we have done. Look at how they would have filed it, because it was a process that I grew up in. So I would definitely know what is going on there. I would have built friendship there, built relationship there, and I would have made my mistakes there and corrected them there. So number one is that person that will man power must be somebody that knew about power. That would be number one thing we are going to do. I don't have anything against the current minister. It's my friend when he was Lagos State government. He empowered me. I knew him. I mean the current minister for power, our former excellency Fashola. But the power should be manned by someone. If you look at time Bolage was also there, Bolage also lamented. He was also a senior advocate of Nigeria and a lawyer. And he went there with passion and with zeal and everything, but they frustrated him almost from that sector. So we need someone that would
was there any difference? You recall when was it Batinaji?
When Batinaji was there, I remember when he visited Fashola. Fashola said, although he was working with government in opposition, but from the explanations he gave to him and the way he analyzed every issue, that he's going to work with him. He said from the explanations he gave to him in his office, and the way he was able to like dissect the whole issue and then tell him everything that ought to be done to get power issue resolved, that he, Fashola, is going to work with the man. Notwithstanding the fact the man is serving government in opposition with his own. Fashola says so. Because the man was able to let him know speak the language of power. And then even that time we saw power going on until certain things happened. I remember my area, my island, where my office, even my house, power was almost, I mean, something that you might like, I did not taking it again. So we need to get, it must not be in Natch. We have so many people there in Southeast, in Southwest, in South, and North, like that. We can bring in and then put in the saddle. So they will take care of that issue of NEPA. Because, I mean, when you look at even Ghana here, the level of energy megawatts generates. You look at other countries that serve Nigeria, Singapore and the rest of them. I look at enormous advantages at our disposal. We're not using them. Why must this issue be like a hydra-headed occurrence? In Nigeria, each government will come and make a promise at the end of the day, so nothing will come out of it. That power sector is very, very crucial. It's an area that we need to like conduct a serious case study to actually unravel the mystery behind failure of power in Nigeria. We have the consumers. People are ready to pay. I'm telling Nigerians are paying for light. Light is the only bill that you bring to people that they will not argue so much to pay. Even when they argue, by the time the others have light, they don't have light, they'll be forced to go and pay. Nobody wants his neighbors to have light and you will not have lights. So this is essential commodity that everybody will want to like align with. You wants to come up with a kind of policy, a kind of initiative that's yielding result, and they're seeing the results. Because now if I buy a generator for like 15,000 naira in a month, and they're giving me a bill of 7,000 naira for NEPA, and I will not buy that gen with noise or gen and not carry my AC and other things, then which one do you think I would prefer? I prefer even paying you 10,000 to have that 15,000 to have light than using that 15,000 to buy fuel. So I think that is the sector that we'll have to look into. But the first thing that ought to be done is to disband it. Disband it. Get that power to be an independent body. Source for someone that knows about it. To take it up. So the person will be able to like, I look at my learned senior, my SN, I mean Fashola, going to all these power stations at different places, India and the rest of them. From power station, what will he be saying there? By me looking at all the wires and the way they were wired and all the, what will he be saying? I mean, what will he be saying? You
don't forget that he has pump set.
That's what he's definitely going to rely on the advice of the. That's what I want to say. He's definitely going to rely on the advice of the people. Or advice given. When you depend on advice 100% in a particular place, my brother, there's the extent you can go.
Okay, moving forward now. You've spoken so much about power, energy, and all that.
Yes.
Housing. What's the way forward?
Housing is also a place where we have got, because if you look at what is going on in Nigeria, it is very, very heartbreaking. If we don't put up a measure to like sort out our housing problem, we're going to run into serious problems, especially in southern Nigeria. Here we don't have much land. Like if you look at Lagos, I went to one part of Lagos yesterday. They finished all the lands there. Go to Kuru, they've gotten to Agujo, go to, they're now approaching what they call that, almost Shagam. Ijebu and Shagam. These are the lands that will be preserved for agriculture, that will use for farming. And then the farmers might think they're getting money by selling off their lands, 500,000, 1 million, collect money, your land is gone. Where will your children farm? Where will you farm? Where will this country farm? By the time the way we are doing, because look at this 1,000 and whatever, 1,004 blocks. Do you know how many people that place accommodated? If they should close that place and tell everybody to look for accommodation, I'm telling you, accommodation within that axis will skyrocket. They close that building and say everybody here go and look for accommodation. Within that axis, there will be no accommodation at all. The people that house is housing, if they come out to look for accommodation, that area will be like there will be crisis there. If you have that, if you multiply that in like 4 or 5 in Lagos, do you think that this kind of development spreading everywhere will be there? People will go and buy a land and build 1 room, buy a land and build half room, buy a land and build a quarter room, and call them their own house. Everybody in Lagos wants to live in his own house. That is quite very, very pathetic. And then if those paying rents, I was in court one day. A man came to court, brought a tenant to court. He has spent 26 years in his house, and he defaulted in payment for a year plus, and he brought him to court. He defaulted in payment of the rent for 1 year and 2 months. The landlord brought him to court. Now here we have a good housing policy. Do you think that man will still be having that crisis in his late 60s? A house he has spent 20-something years. Because there is no policy. That man is not supposed to be paying that rent. That's supposed to be like a mortgage. That man will have been living in that, but the other thing is that house will have become that man's own. But in Nigeria, it cannot become your own even if you have lived there for 50 years. Because government is not doing anything in that regard. And they're also losing money. If you have a good mortgage, let's say a 2-room apartment is like 500,000 there. You are collecting even 700,000. Say if you pay like 15 years to become your house, within that 15 years, within that 10 years, that money they pay, they use that money and build another house on the estate. They put other people there. If you pay 10 years to become your house, within that 10 years, that 5 years, you liaise with the banks, you build another house in the estate. People will not be looking for how to go and buy land and cause crisis and cause fraud and embezzle money to go and buy land in their own house and start, cutting short their lifespan.
Is there anything in the law that helps people to enjoy this kind of benefits that we are not exploring at all?
I will go into that, but for me, it's what the government ought to do. Because if you have the housing scheme, a good housing scheme with a good mortgage, a child that is newly married with a woman can pick a room and parlor for 400, even 300,000 for 10 years. It will become their own. They may just stay there and raise their kids and go their way. So I pick 2-bedroom flat for like 800,000. Even if you make it 1 million for 10 years, people will gladly pay. For 10 years stretch, they will be paying 1 million every year. In next 10 years, it becomes their house. But it's only government that can do this. But are we doing it in Nigeria? You parent like 40 years. If you can't pay for 1 year, the landlord will drag you to court. And government is also losing money. Because if you are doing it, like I said before, the rate of that house may be 400, you can put it 600. But for the fact people know that, look, I'm paying instrumentally to own this apartment. By the time I get in my 50s, or so when I'll be weak, this place will be the place I'll have as my resting place. So I have to struggle to pay this 700,000. And in that case, don't even need to struggle to collect rent. So there will be a clause that if you stay to pay 2 years, we will revoke. So they'll do everything, and you'll be counting years. I'm in the 7th year. Thank God, next 3 years, this place will become my own. I'll not pay rent again. And government is making more money.
So is the problem with the policy or the implementation?
It's the policy and the implementation we have. I don't know what is wrong with our government. It is for something that you look, this is an avenue you make.
We want you to advise.
This is an avenue you use to make money and save the lives of your people, save agricultural lands and everything. People come in the law. I'm inside or Gijo somewhere. I want to buy land. They are saying they are 400, 300,000. I say I can't come there. My car cannot access the area. You can't do it on your own. They say I'm inside somewhere after Legushi for my bear you trade another 1 hour. I say who is coming there? Me. So they're selling like 200,000 there. These people are destroying our agricultural land. They're destroying agricultural land. Go to there and Lakeside. These places are swampy areas that are good for rice cultivation.
And people still prefer to buy to
build.
build.
Buy and fill. These areas are good for rice and other things in the dry season. We're not utilizing them. Nigeria is not to be like a hungry country for one. I traveled one part of Nigeria like that. But if you see the kind of things being wasted, things that when they get to Lagos, you see them will be like God. You spend all the money buying them. You are just falling down there, just being wasted. And you go to Zamfara, you go to Meduguri, you hear that people are eating onions leaves. People in IDP, they eat leaves from onions as their food. Another part of country, you see these people what's in there.
Talking deals, I agree. I want you to complete the cycle. Spoken about power, house, now works. Our roads are in a sorry state.
And they say that this is federal road, this is state road.
Government of Nigeria begin to develop mortgage. Stop troubling the people. We always fight corruption. When people are oppressed, when people are in a dilemma, when people are facing a kind of cul-de-sac, a no-go area, they will become corrupt. People in Nigeria are under pressure to find accommodation, under pressure to do this and do that. And when they're under that pressure, I'm telling you, no amount of EFCC, no amount of policy will stop them from being corrupt. The best way to fight corruption is to provide amenities that will make people suffer less, that make people have hope. A hopeless man can do anything. I was telling somebody one day, say, whether you like it or not, go and make a stealing or whatever, their penalty, you will keep on stealing. Because there are young boys that either they steal or they die. So they prefer to steal and be caught and die than to allow hunger to kill them. They must steal.
So
well, we'll find, you know, the roads, like Banji said, the roads are in a deplorable state.
Is it
you even want, that's where I'm going. Which one is
let's consider
the issue? I think what part of what makes it difficult is this issue of it's state road, it's federal road, and everything is going down.
That was the issue I discussed in one media program. Because when we are talking about the issue of local government autonomy and other things, I said, there are some states when you have seen their roads, the roads will be like a death trap, so bad and so terrible. But when you say, governor will tell you, look, this is a federal road. That we cannot touch it.
We have one very close to us. That's Ota.
Yes. I've been using long. It's even bad that whenever I go to my mother, but I go to that road, it's under construction. But at what speed? Last time I came there, I almost ran, my BP almost ran up. Because my car had a kind of system that my car detected the bad road, and so many signs showed on my dashboard. I became so scared. I have to approach road safety. They didn't even know what to do. I have to give my life because I had to be in court for that day because I will be leading evidence. So I have to put myself, whatever happens, let it happen. And so when I go to court, I call one mechanic, say, oh, it's a bad road. Your car is allergic to bad road. Just showed you the sign that this road is not good for me to fly.
Allergic.
So that's the last time you ever fly.
Yes. I said when next you are coming, just slow down. But if you enter Lagos proper, you live around the gate. I say yes. So by the time you use that car for like 2, those things will disappear. Deceive you. That doesn't happen to your car. Just like the bad roads, and I show you on your dashboard, which eventually happened. I used my car for 2 with the whole size. Disappeared. So what we're saying is that what a country like Nigeria should be witnessing? That you want to go to a certain area in Nigeria, the whole of your body system will be like, how do I access this place? How do I come back? You must go and visit your mechanic after applying certain routes. Or if you see bus is flying, then they'll be like out of this world, so tattered and so behaving, even it has affected their attitude, the way they behave while on the road. So what are we doing about that? And then again, this issue of some local roads too, some local roads. It's not even just federal roads now. We're talking about infrastructure general, because now I believe our discussion is not narrowed down to the presidency. It's all the incoming people, the governors and every one of them. The point is that we should do internal roads. Internal roads in Nigeria is terribly bad. They are terribly bad. Some internal roads, even within the Ikeja, forget about what we see on the major roads there. Go inside the street. People use the street to access the major roads. They must be fixed. Then federal roads, like on this Lagos Shagamu Bini Road, we must commend them. They've done well in that place. Oh, good. Lagos, they've done well. They're doing well in that road. And we have to, where they have done well, we have to commend them. Acknowledge that. From Lagos to Shagamu to Bini to Delta, whatever, the road is receiving serious attention. And then from Lagos to Badagry also, they are doing something on that road. But then it's not sort of choose and pick. It's something that ought to be done uniformly. I mean, federal highways, especially highways, people lose their lives. There I had a terrible accident on a highway. I almost died. Because I never expected the kind of pothole I saw in that highway would be there. So I had the mindset that this is highway. Because a highway, you can have to kind of apply at a certain speed. You don't just start dragging the highway. So now I suddenly entered one heavy pothole and my car almost assaulted. I have to hit all the demarcations before the car finally stopped. People, lucky for me, people at my back, they saw what will happen and they were able to slow down. If that one lorry would have cleared me off the road. I never imagined that kind of pothole would be there. So now when you use any highway in Nigeria, I can't even speed. You don't know where you are going to meet a pothole, which is not good. Potholes are not supposed to be seen on highways. That's why it's called highway. You use high speed and move on. It's not local roads you are using a
But then you would admit that when this administration came into power 2015, they had a kind of roadmap. They told us so much about what they had discovered in terms of the deficit, in terms of road constructions and all that. Why would you say? Is it that they work? Lagos Ibadan work is still in progress. The Minister of Transport has told us that Lagos to Calabar was one of the projects. But is it that the resources are not there? Because they
borrowed heavily now for this infrastructure. They borrowed heavily. And we are still generating funds. But our revenue is increasing. Because I remember last time the custom boss, the remittances in trillions. And even to the extent that even JAM was even remitting money, which I actually questioned. I was asking, why should JAM remit money to federal government boss? Is JAM a kind of revenue generating kind of sector? So you're exploiting the students, or you're exploiting them. You're not supposed to get money from JAM. That's a part anyway. The issue is that, like you rightly said, the government talked about a lot. They promised a lot. For me, I believe they didn't do a proper analysis of the Nigerian situation before they assumed office. You know, when you are from the outside, just like a person watching football, you'll be, Neymar will have played that, Messi will have done that. If Ronaldo didn't run too fast, he would have scored the goal because you're outside. But you're inside under the pressure, under timing and everything. You may not be able to assess all those things within the few seconds they have to do those things. I believe APC came into power based on their external observations, and they didn't properly groom the technocrats. They didn't have some people in mind, because if you are making a promise to deliver politically in terms of governance, there must be a team. You must have a kind of team that you're going to work with. And that team must have been like a trusted team. You must have assessed the situation. You must have a kind of consulted widely and consulted people that will, the people that are into that very particular sector, that will tell you what the other people there are not doing well. When we were in school, we were playing all these local school politics. Before we go into school, we have to study it. We can even bring architectures in school. How is this design going to be? I want to build a water tank as a governor of one of the schools. I have to go to market and ask for the price of that big tank. And ask someone that will do the slab. How much would the slab cost to do a slab in this place? I want to go for the governor. I'm getting all these things done. And I said, okay, if we employ somebody, how much are we going to be selling what if we sell? And the person gave me all these things. When I was campaigning, I was telling them I'm going to build a slab.
No, but then there's something, if you study our situation, with everything, apart from the funds, why is it that when people get there, they become jinxed? There are so many lofty ideas, because many of them have great ideas, they know how to govern, but they become jinxed.
Like I told you, when I was doing all my, I now discovered that our formal fund was so small. I met the one who said, look, what I was saying, are we going to increase this fund? But look at what we're going to do. We're going to do them. He said, okay, we consulted students widely, call us, and they agreed. We increased the fund in the hostel to accommodate those things. Another issue in Nigeria again is corruption. The godfathers, people that put you there. I remember one man that was saying something one day, and he met one man that said he should supply drugs. He supplied the drugs to a ministry like that. There is the amount you pay. The man said no. The amount you are paying, you said we pay you, is so small. Multiply it by 4 times and right. The man said no, he can't multiply that amount. That's what he's selling his soul. He can make it like 10 million, which is like 1.5 million drugs. The man said, what? It's like you don't know what he's saying. He said, what is there? He said, look, let me tell you, this seat I'm occupying now. Somebody puts me here. I have to get a refund for that person. And somebody recommended that person that recommended the person that recommended me. And then somebody somewhere is collecting something from this seat. As I am here now, I'm not here alone.
It's a long chain.
That's why I said 10. I'm not here alone. So listen, and there's no way we can get something apart from someone like you. When you make this supply, we tell you what your rights. The man now said, no. Who do you say that put you there? He mentioned me. He said, okay, don't worry. The man dropped that. I went to that man. He said, I supplied drugs to answer ministry. And he said that you are the one that put him there. That he cannot say that. He said, he said, yes. He said, you are part of it. You are the man. The man was having that became an issue. But what am I telling you? That drugs of 1.5 or 2.5 million will have been like 10 million. Now tell me how that thing will be sustained. How there will be consistency in the supply of that drugs. Where a drug of 1.5 million is restricted to be 10 million. So how the cycle going to be? That's why when they enter there, except if you are bold enough. But then before you get there, the problem we have is that the process that will produce you, it would have been entangled before time. The conditions will be given.
And you accept.
And you accept because you want to answer that name. And you don't want to accept, you'll not be there. By the time you get there and look at all the things around you, that the place you have put yourself and other things, you have no other action to play along and then while time get your own. So you join them. Okay, see, this is what they do here. Let me find a way to stick my own and give them and settle them whatever and go. It's very, very sad. And when this government came in, we thought that this government would
do something different.
All these things. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Mr. NWOKEDI. There's so much to say about setting an agenda.
Part 1.
In fact, it's not even part 1, maybe part half. There's still so much to say about agenda for Buhari's second term. But I like the fact that these 3 sectors that we're able to talk about. And I like the fact, what he said, that if I live in a house for 10 years, there should be a plan, a mortgage plan that after then I own the house. So if it's working in other climes, it's something we could explore.
In Nigeria.
So I like that one. So my own suggestion to the administration is to explore that area. Thank you, Mr. John.
One other good thing I must say about it, he actually did admit that certain areas government did very well. Benore. And that's good. It's not as if they scored 0 in all the
federal roads.
Federal roads. So, I mean, you're only asking for improvements at the end.
Yes, more.
We sincerely thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you so much.
We'll definitely call you back because you have just scratched it on the surface. Greek is there, education is there, health is there. There's so many to discuss.
Security. One big one.
Security.
So, my name is Banji Pusari. That's our show for today. So, Wednesday is another day. Till then, see you.
I'm Jumoke Michaels. Have a good day.
Soul of entertainment.
I need the police that can respond to emergencies first.
I want the equipment I need to do my job.
I want a police that won't harass or arrest me for no just reason.
I want to be valued for my work, not feared by honest people.
I want a police that won't ask me anything for the boys.
I want a decent salary that is paid on time.
If it happen with good laws,
Proper funding,
Training.
and cooperation, if it happen,
If it happens.
if it happen.
soul of entertainment.